Welcome to my second video in a video series that I've been called to do called Lessons from Spirit. I am known for cutting through the bullshit and keeping things down to earth, and I want to do that. I want to make the principles that I've experienced and learned from Spirit as accessible to pretty much everybody. And I like to keep things, like I said, down to earth. In the New Age field and a lot of spiritualities, there's just too much fluff. There's too much woo. And I am not a psychic or a medium that will ever talk about being an empath. There's so many problems with that. And if you're somebody who uses that term and you want to expand your awareness and kind of look at why that is problematic and narcissistic, I've done the research, I've wrote the article, and I'm happy to send you the link to it. But that's not why I'm here. I just use that as an example to talk about how much woo and disempowering information is out there. Today's topic or lesson from Spirit is all about, I'm going to use air quotes, the veil. We're creeping up on Halloween, and there's a lot of talk about the veil being thin. Ooh. Now, I have been a professional medium since Halloween of 2017. That's when I first took money for this work, and that's my start date. 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Coming up on 7 years of doing this professionally. The work that I do and the connection to Spirit that I have does not increase around Halloween. On the opposite side of the wheel, May 1st-ish, end of April, it's not weaker and it's not stronger this time of year. I want to give you an idea of what the veil is because I'm not sure that many people have this perspective. I believe that as spiritual beings, we are all connected to Spirit. Now, the work that I do is always about leading people back to their own spirit, leading people back to the authority of their own heart. I like to speak in analogies. When you're alive, your body and soul, horse and rider, married together. When we die, the horse dies, the rider gets off the horse and continues on. Now, that wisdom that we have from that rider, from that soul, it doesn't stop. Even when we're alive, we maintain a connection to Spirit. You are a walking doorway simply because you are a soul and body married in this way. What happens though? We walk into life and think about little kids. Think about when you were 3 or 4. I think of myself when I was young and I was very playful and energetic. And then life taught me through school, through parents, through culture, that I shouldn't be those things. And the older I got, the more identity or id or ego I started to establish for myself. We are all a sum of our parts. And I think the spiritual path is figuring out what those parts are, parents, education, politics, religion, the best friend in 6th grade that betrayed us. We have this layer of experience, identity, and ego that, I don't want to say weighs down our soul, but covers it up in a way. It becomes a callus. The spiritual path is figuring out what those things are so we can get to the wisdom of the soul beneath that while we're here. That wisdom of that soul is available to you all the time. Yet, what I'm talking about is perhaps known as the difference between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. The conscious mind would be our identity, our ego, the way we think and get through this world. And we do need to maintain that personality and that ego to get through this world. Yet the subconscious mind, I believe, is our connection to Spirit. There is a part of us that maintains that connection to Spirit. And the language of Spirit, to me, is feeling. As a medium, I will feel things from Spirit. I'll hear, sense, smell, taste, all sorts of impressions and sensations. But ultimately, I believe the language of Spirit is feeling. That you'll feel things. If you consider yourself an intuitive person, well, you'll only know that you're intuitive because you don't listen to it, or you didn't listen to it in the past. How often have we gone through experiences in life where we felt a certain thing about a person or a situation, and then we get to the other side of it and we're like, damn it, I knew it about that. So, through trial and error or trial and learning, we learn to listen to that more spiritual, intuitive side, and that spiritual, intuitive side is being informed by our ancestors, our beloved dead, our guiding spirits, all of that. And it's important to remember that you always have that connection. Now, that connection to spirit will increase when we zone out. Many people have heard the term the monkey mind. I think it's a Buddhist term, the monkey mind. Can't quiet the mind down. Well, you have an intuitive, emotional part to your consciousness. You have a rational, intellectual part to it. If that rational, intellectual part is so loud, it will make it very difficult for us to receive spiritual messages. When we're driving, when we're doing dishes, when we're in the shower, when that monkey mind calms down and we zone out, that's when we'll get more information. I can't tell you the amount of ideas or inspirations that have come to me, either from driving or being in the shower. The water will increase spiritual connection, yes, but it's that zoning out. When we look at shamanic cultures and the way that they will drum, boom, 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 or rattle, what they're actually doing is they're adjusting their brain waves so they can access the more spiritual parts. They're thinning the veil in that way. That's what the veil is. The veil is that separation between our conscious and subconscious mind. The part of us that forgets that wisdom. Now, coming into life, being an incarnated being in the way that we are, I refer to that as the great forgetting. When we die, we go through a great remembering. There is a certain amount of information that we can have access to as incarnate beings. There are principles and philosophies, values from the world of spirit that we can discover about ourselves, about this process to make our life better here. Because some of us, not everybody from my experience, but some of us do make the choice to reincarnate in a way that helps others here. Some people just get random lives so they can learn. Yes, some of us come back to this world to rediscover those spiritual principles and then do what we can to make the land of sorrow a better place for the people who are experiencing so much pain in an imbalanced world. So that to me is what the veil is. Are there times of year when it's thinner? I'm not sure. I think there are times in ourselves when it's thinner. Think of the dreams that you would have of spirit visitations or people that you've lost. That's a process where the veil becomes thin and spirit can come through because our monkey mind is quieted down. I have met a lot of people who say, I can't feel my spirits anymore. And I'll say, do you have anxiety? If you have anxiety or you're hungry or you're tired, not only will that mind and that identity keep you away from that spiritual connection, but when your body is hungry or tired or not rested, well, you are a 3D being. You're a physical being in a physical world. And if you don't feed yourself, rest yourself, play yourself, that energy is going to have a harder time coming through to you. Now, I do believe everybody is intuitive to varying degrees. Intuitiveness, psychicness, maybe that's all the same thing. I do believe everybody has a connection to their spirits. Many times I'll sit with a client and I'll say, Graham, she wants you to go ride a horse or go to a concert. And 9 times out of 10, people will say to me, wow, I was just thinking about that. And I'm like, you weren't thinking about it. You were receiving it, but because you don't understand how that relationship works, you just think you're coming up with a random idea. So remember, if there is a veil, and I believe there is, it's within you. And there are things that you can do all times of the year to lessen its presence and to access what's behind it. But first, you gotta know how to relax. You gotta know how to turn that monkey mind off. So I encourage you to find ways that work for you to do that.